Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Reagan and today we have a huge book haul. I have a ton of books to talk about, so I'm not even going to be doing a long intro and we're just gonna get straight into it. Some of these books were gifted by friends or publishers or things like that, and a lot of these books I purchased myself. This is also a bit of a collective haul, so this is what I would say the past like 2 or 3 months possibly of books that I have accumulated. So you guys know me, I am a fantasy and romance reader mainly. I do have a whole fantasy pile and a whole romance pile, with the exception of one book that is literary fiction. So we're gonna get started with that one first because he's the outlier. Amazing nonetheless. The first book that we're going to talk about today is Beartown by Frederick Bachman. I read Anxious People by him like right when it came out and I didn't absolutely love it, but I have heard that Beartown is like one of his best books. So this premise specifically really intrigued me, so I was really excited to pick this one up, and I actually love this new cover even though it has the HBO permanent sticker on there. This is about a small town community who has a pretty big and heavy scandal happen, and it is like weeks away from one of their big hockey games. I've just heard that Frederick's writing is absolutely fantastic in this book and that there's a really good small town element that he covers and a big found family. So all of that sounds right up my alley and I'm excited to get to this. I want to get to this in the winter just because I feel like it's a wintry book. Next we will get started with my romance pile because it is a little bit smaller than the fantasy pile. The first one that I have is You Again by Kate Goldbeck. I have talked about this in my November TBR. I will link that above if you haven't seen it. This is like a When Harry Met Sally retelling. That is pretty much all I know about it. I just have seen this nonstop and it is the perfect fall read, so I have to read it in November. I really need to get to this one soon, so I'm excited to see what I think about it. I have definitely seen mixed reviews about this book, but I don't know. I'm feeling like I'm going to like it. That's just my feeling now, but obviously that could change. Next up we have a book that I found whenever I was browsing Barnes recently and have heard no one talk about it, have heard nothing about it. Didn't even look up the Goodreads ratings, but it is called Meet Me at the Wedding by Georgia Tofolo. I think that's how you say. But for some reason this cover was giving Love, Rosie, and that is one of my favorite movies of all time. So for some reason this just caught my eye and I really want to read it. It is about this wedding that is taking place on Devon Coast, and this girl is planning this wedding but then ends up facing Henry, who she hasn't seen in years and who she really did not want to run into. They are definitely enemies to lovers, I would say. It just seems like a really cozy, fun little romance, and I'm excited to see what I think about it. Next, I picked this up at the used bookstore, and it is One Night on the Island by Josie Silver. I know nothing about this. I do love Josie Silver though. I loved One Day in December by her, so I actually saw this one and just really wanted to pick it up. From what I know so far, there is like a cottage and it was accidentally double booked. So these two people have to share a cottage, share a room, which you guys know I love the one bed trope. So I'm hoping that that is in here. Next is also another book that I found at the used bookstore, and it is Once Upon a December by Amy E. Reichart. I hope that's how you say the last name. But all I've gathered from it is that it's very Hallmark, very Christmas. That's exactly what I love. I don't love cheesy romance books, but when it comes to a holiday Christmas romance, the cheesier the better to me. I also think that it is fake dating, which we love in this house. All right, next up is a new release that I have seen nothing but good reviews about. I have seen so many rave reviews, and that is Love Redesign by Lauren Asher. I have not read the fine print by her, but I have read a few of the books in the Dirty Air series and I enjoyed them, but this is really intriguing to me. I love the characters and just the premise of it so far. It's also a billionaire romance, which Lauren loves her some billionaire romances, as do I. I'm excited about this. It is absolutely ginormous. It's over 500 pages, so I don't know how I feel about that in a romance book. I hope that I also give it 5 stars because it's been a while since I've given a romance 5 stars. All right, next is part of a series, and that is the Chestnut Spring series. So I actually have not read the Chestnut Spring series at all, but I actually didn't think I was going to read it because cowboy romances just like aren't really my thing, but I don't know. I feel like I've been convinced and I want to give it a try. I love the small town aspect. So I have Flawless. These are the new covers by Bloom. Bought Flawless, and then also I want to give away, so my friend sent me Heartless. And Powerless just came out, so I really need to buy that one too because I love the Powerless cover, and also Powerless is a hockey romance. romance. Love it. I will be starting the Chestnut Spring series very, very soon. And I know that it just ended, so I feel like now's a really great time to just be able to start it, binge it, finish it, all those good things. The next romance that I have is I Wish I Knew Then by Jessica Peterson, who actually sent me a PR box with this copy in there. So thank you so much, Jessica, for the PR box and the copy. It was absolutely fantastic. It was a beautiful PR box. But this is also on Kindle Unlimited. So if you want to read this, it's on Kindle and it's also already released. So it's out now. But this is a small town romance with big secrets. And that's pretty much all I know about it. That's all I want to know going into it. I know that the characters are Lou and Riley. It might not actually be suspense, but I do love the small town with big secrets vibe. All right, we're almost done with our romance pile. The next one is My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine. I read it in October and I gave it 3 stars. I didn't feel like it was anything that blew me away, but I did feel like it was a fun Halloween rom-com. The main character, who's a vampire, he was just like cracking me up. So it was a fun time. I don't know if I would like super recommend it, but I did love the cover, so I did end up buying it. Overall, just a good escape of a book. And last in the romance pile, we have Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan, which I've never read any Kennedy Ryan books. I also know that this is on Kindle Unlimited, but I found it in Target and Bloom also published it, and I love these new covers. So I think that she got picked up by Bloom, I'm assuming, and I absolutely love this cover. So I was happy to pick this up. I do know that it is a basketball romance, which I am all about. I love a basketball romance, and this one is also second chance and like deeply emotional. So this is definitely going to be read when my mental health is a little bit more stable. Because I don't know if I can handle the emotional turmoil at this moment in time. I've heard great things about Kennedy Ryan's writing, and I'm excited to give it a try. And it's also dual POV, which we love, a dual POV romance. My camera died, so if the angle looks different, that's why. But we are on to our fantasy stack now, and the first one on the list is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. You guys know in my last vlog, I read The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber, and I need to read the 3rd book. But I found this at Barnes the other day with my friends, and it was buy one, get one 50% off. So this was only $6. So I really had to get this series because I really want to start the Caraval trilogy. I am so obsessed with Stephanie Garber's writing. This premise just really intrigues me. I know I probably should have read this one before I read Once Upon a Broken Heart, but I didn't. I just hope that it's as whimsical as Once Upon a Broken Heart, and I do know that we get a glimpse of Jax in here. I'm always excited about it. I always love some extra Jax content. This next book was sent to me by the publisher, so Forever Publishing, and that is The Princess of Thornwood Drive by Talia Moreau. I hope that's how you say it, but this is a fantasy, I'm pretty sure. But on the back it says, 2 sisters, 2 worlds, 1 grave danger to them both. I'm intrigued. I want to know more. So thank you so much, Forever Publishing, for sending this to me. Even the front says, every fantasy has a princess, a hero, and a villain. It's kind of all I want to know about this book. Next is a duology that I feel like a lot of you are going to be like, Reagan, why have we not read this? I own the first book. I just need to do it. I'm just a little bit intimidated and a little bit scared of this duology. I don't know why, but Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I only own the first one right now. It is just so thick and daunting for some reason. There's a heist. There's like 6 friends, I think. Super big found family. And all of my friends have loved this book, and I know that I will love it. I just need to make myself read it. So if you've read it and you think that I need to bump it up my TBR, comment down below and tell me and convince me to read this book. Next is another used book find, which is Hotel Magnifique by Emily J. Taylor. I really know nothing about this. I know that it's like a YA with this hotel that is famous for its enchantments. I think that there's like 2 sisters or something where they go on this adventure in this enchanted hotel. Some things go down, I'm assuming. Oh wait, no wait. On the back it says perfect for fans of Caraval. So maybe I need to read Caraval first and then I'll read Hotel Magnifique. But this sounds right up my alley, and I think it will just be like a fun, little whimsical time, I'm hoping. Next is another young adult trilogy that I have not started yet, but I actually found this first book at the used bookstore. I love my local used bookstore. It is absolutely fantastic, and that is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I know that this is also kind of polarizing where people either love it or they hate it. I hope that I'm on the side that loves it because the premise just sounds absolutely amazing. If you haven't heard about this book, it says 2 sisters, 1 brutal murder, a quest for vengeance that will unleash hell itself, and an intoxicating romance. What more could you want from a YA fantasy series? So I hope that I am able to get to this soon. I really want to try and get to it by the end of the year, but I make no promises with the books that I want to read by the end of the year because the end of the year is fast approaching us and I haven't read any of those books. So with all that to say, Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco, I really hope that I am in the pool of people that love this book. All right, next is a fantasy romance that I haven't seen a ton of people talk about, but I have seen a few, and that is The Curse of Saints by Kate Dramas. Dramas? Not sure how you say that, but it's a fantasy romance. It says, has she been sent to save the world or to destroy it? Love that. I think that there's an elite spy at this palace, and I guess stuff goes down. It's a romance between her rival, and they hate each other. We love our rivals to lovers. We love our enemies to lovers. We love it when they hate each other at first, because I'm a big tension girl. Like, I want lots of tension. I want slow burn. I want you guys to hate each other at first, and I want some slow burn and pining in my fantasy romance books. This one sounds super, super intriguing. I know that I keep saying intriguing. I need to literally find a synonym for that word. I think that there's also like a war between gods in this fantasy world, so that is another big plot point that I really enjoy in fantasy, is war between gods, lots of like mythical folklore around gods in fantasy, and I think that this will just be right up my alley. Next is a YA fantasy that has been taking over Bookstagram by storm, and that is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I did end up getting the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition because it has the pink, and I'm a sucker for some pink, and there's also 2 bonus chapters in this book. I am just so beyond excited to see what this book is about. All of my friends have loved this book. All of my friends have rated it 5 stars. I think the second book comes out early 2024, I want to say, so I need to read this pretty soon so that I'm on track for the second book that comes out. I also literally know nothing about this book, and it doesn't really give a super big premise. On the front it says hunted, hunter, destined for each other. Possibly some fated mates, maybe. But either way, I'll eat it up, I know for sure. Definitely had to get this one, and I just love the pink touches on the Barnes & Noble exclusive of this one. Alrighty, last but not least is a trilogy that I just recently purchased, which is the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. So we have Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, which, yes, it's in paperback. I wasn't able to find the hardcover in this book, and I also didn't really want to wait. It doesn't really bother me that bad, so we're just gonna roll with it, but I do have Once Upon a Broken Heart. I have The Ballad of Never After, and I just recently acquired A Curse for True Love. I need to read this book, and I'm so scared to read it because of how the second book left off. I'm so afraid for this book, but I really think that I'm going to love it. I feel like at this point, I'm a Stephanie Garber stan. I feel like I will really love whatever she does just because I love her writing style, and the way that she writes her characters and the way that she world builds is just very refreshing and whimsical. So I feel like I'm going to love this last installment in the trilogy, but I did have to buy all 3 books. This series is about Evangeline, and she really believes in true love and wants her happy ending. So because of this, she strikes up a deal with the Prince of Hearts, kind of realizes after that bargaining with the Prince of Hearts is pretty dangerous and you never know what you're gonna get. So it just follows her story and her plans and the things that her and the Prince of Hearts get into. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed. As always, my socials will be linked down below. You can always go follow me on there and check out those links. Comment down below if you have bought any books recently or which book I should bump up on my TBR. And that's all from me, so I will see you in the next one. Bye!